Good evening, visitors, and welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Dan Hiscock, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Navy is Captain Lisa Batchelor. This evening we warmly welcome members of the executive team representing BAE Systems and the delegation representing Stryker South Pacific Veterans Association. As always, we welcome the veterans who have served, those still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services Leagues of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by visitors to the memorial and students on behalf of Barrenjoey Montessori School from Avalon, New South Wales. If you're able, please stand and join in singing the National Anthem. If you wish to and you're able, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Private Alfred Hector James. Alfred James was born on the 7th of January 1920 in Ararat, Victoria, the son of John and Nellie James. Known as Alf, he worked casually as a railway porter until enlisting in the 2nd Australian Imperial Force on the 10th of June 1940. Initially posted to the 2nd 40th Battalion, he was soon transferred to the newly raised 2nd 24th Battalion. Formed in July 1940 from primarily Victorian volunteers, the 2nd 24th Battalion became known as Wangaratta Zone after they spent time waiting for the training facilities at Bonegilla to be formed. After training at the new facilities, Alf and the 2nd 24th Battalion embarked for overseas service on the 16th of November 1940, arriving in the Middle East a month later. Part of the 26th Brigade, the 2nd 24th Battalion was initially part of the 7th Division, but in early 1941 became part of the 9th Division. Alf and his battalion joined the 9th Division in Cyrenaica, where they completed training. Despite the successes of the British offensive early in the year, when the German Afrika Korps led an Axis counter-attack, the 9th Division fell back to Tobruk. Alf and his comrades entered Tobruk on the 10th of April and helped defend the fortress for the next 8 months. Alf saw extensive service at Tobruk, manning the Red Line, the outer line of defence, a series of concrete pillboxes in a semicircle around the town. He also took part in bitter fighting in the salient, where Axis forces retained control. In October, the majority of the 9th Division was evacuated by sea. The 2nd 24th was evacuated on the night of the 20th of October, headed for Alexandria. HMAS Nizam, part of what was known as the Tobruk Ferry Service, was involved in ferrying the troops from the besieged port city. An account of that journey noted, "At 9:40 a.m, a tragedy suddenly occurred. The troops were sitting on the gear around the decks while the destroyer ploughed on at top speed. Suddenly, and without warning, a large wave came aboard and washed 20 of our men overboard. Against the Navy's standing orders, the destroyer stopped to rescue the men who were swimming fully clothed and without lifebelts. 6 men were lost, believed drowned. Among those lost was Private Alf James, who was 21 years old. Today, he is commemorated on the Alamein Memorial. Years after his death, his family mourned his passing with the following poem printed in the local paper. "When last we saw your smiling face, you looked so bright and well. But little did we think, dear Alf, it was your last farewell." His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my left, among almost 40,000 Australians who died while serving in the Second World War. A photograph of his name listed on the Alamein Memorial is displayed today beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private Alfred Hector James, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please be upstanding for the reading of the Ode and sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We'll leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub of Gallipoli with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain has thought in his last moments, well, it's over, but in Australia they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the Director and staff, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and for your continued support of the Memorial's development project. We wish you all a very pleasant evening. Thank you.